Hi there, I'm Allie Elliott.
Hi everybody, I'm Allie Elliott. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Impoverish is here right away. I love it. I'm going to talk today about the top 3 habits of a composite photographer and work on this composite. And I keep, this is one of those that I'm thinking about like in the middle of the night. If I wake up, I'm thinking about what I want to do. Yay! I'm so glad you're here. I don't know. I feel like I've got the luxury of time with this, which is maybe a dangerous mindset. Oh, good. I'm glad. You know, because you think you've got all kinds of time and then time just fades away. So I'm just going to keep working right now on these. Well, look, like right there where I missed a whole panel in the dress. But I've got to work on a way of, she's going to be like, I'm on the wrong layer here. Right. It is definitely an illusion. And I'm definitely coming up to a point where my client work is going to take a lot of me, a lot of time, a lot of effort and energy, which is a great place to be. Definitely not complaining about that, but I'm sitting on this image thinking that I've got all the time in the world because I've got till July and I've got the other images complete or at least real close. You know, I'll probably have some stuff to adjust with those after Saturday's judging. But, you know, I've got 4 of 7 done. And for these kinds of images, that's a big deal. But it also gives me a little bit of time to... That's true. Time runs out, suddenly 20 plus years older, wondering what happened. That's true. However, for our purposes, I can't abuse the idea that, okay, I've got till July. Because I also have, let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 completed. And then I've got this one. And then I've got another concept that I haven't shot or anything yet. And then I've got one more that I don't have a concept. I don't have a plan. I don't have any ideas. But that's also the category that I shoot most often. So I think that's good and that's bad because there's a lot of pressure there to make sure that that's, you know, a really, really strong category. And then you want to make it incredible. And when you shoot something very often, you know, it might become a little more mundane. Now, I don't feel like it has, but maybe you know, maybe people that watch my work are like, yeah, it's a little done. I'm really excited to get outside. I've had my outdoor, you know, we've been inside for the winter, and I've had a handful of outdoor sessions, and it's been really cold and windy and not ideal. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to end up having to change this backdrop because it's not rain. It's definitely ice, and you can see little chunks of ice and stuff, but it's an alright start. So I will do what I can. And then I'm probably gonna have to take pieces. And once I have the exact plan in mind, and this from a distance, I felt like it looked like a fork. So I'm just gonna adjust that a little bit. But I need to make her like she's standing in the rain. So I'm just going to take the general fork look down. Just make it a little more of a gradient, a little imperfect gradient. And then that makes sense because we'll have light coming from above and then juxtaposed with the umbrella and everything. So I did some work on this before, but I'm going to do a little more because I don't like these. Whoops. I don't like these creases. So how are you doing today? What you working on? Hear about everybody's sessions. I have my work this weekend is actually consisting of my writing. I will be traveling with my family and I'm working on a pretty extensive rewrite for my upcoming book. So that reminds me, I need to So I'm under instruction to restructure it, and I think it's I sat on that for a little while because I had just finished writing and I didn't want to do it. And then as I took time away from it, I was like, okay, reluctantly agreed. So it's time to start moving on that. So that's but what I like to do is print it and then I'll take chunks of actual paper and move it around so that I can see it. I like doing that more than just in like a written document. So the lighting on this is gonna have to change. And I think what I'll do is thought I got to it in time. All right. Impoverished got real philosophical and then left. All right, so I'm gonna go a little brighter and take the contrast down and then erase back. Let's see, and then just like halfway up here. Merge those and duplicate again.
Seems like just yesterday out in the yard, there on our backs.
Okay. So I wish I had a little more direction with what I wanted to. Hey Ray! Thanks for lurking. It's appreciated. So I wonder maybe if this makes more sense. Hey! Hi everybody! Yay! I never know when you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for the raid. That's awesome. Very cool. How was your stream today? Oh, good. Good. What was on the agenda? I'm just gonna take this whole thing down a little bit. Oh, good. Love to hear it. I think I already duplicated this, so I'm just gonna go down to this other, yeah. sense for what we're working with here. So I'm just doing this is kind of the gross part of a composite, the like stitching together, setting up composition, planning it, that stuff. This isn't the fun part where you get to actually see it come together. Tested Fuji cameras last weekend, looked at all the images, found out Lightroom has a problem with Fuji RAW. Oh, interesting. That's cool. I don't use Lightroom at all, so I have no idea. Okay, let's see. So this is probably gonna take, actually I'm gonna back up a little to try and get some balance here because it's a weird shape. Oh, okay. Interesting. Whoops. Well, that's why that wasn't working. So, I want to just make this more umbrella-y. Looks broken almost, but that's okay. So I'm coming up on like the best kind of chaos, but a utter chaos of the schedule. I'm not mad about it. I'm pretty excited about it. Okay. So, I know that this coloring is going to change. But until I decide on my background, so if you weren't here, you know that this background, or if you weren't here, you don't know this, but I'm going to change this background, and the weather has not been cooperating. So I think I want puddles. I think it needs to be puddles.
Baby, just call me. I'll waste no time, love. I'll come straight to you.
And I like some of these little edges. This is a weird little anomaly. We'll have to change that. No big deal.
You know I'll be there soon. I love you like a garden underneath the rainfall, moving off a heat wave in the summertime. Are you the kind of woman a man can get used to? I'm the kind of man that I won't.
So what's everybody else working on today?
If you ever need me,
I'm gonna put a new layer right above this and just do.
I'll waste no time, love. I'll come straight to you. Oh, the river's wide, dear, and the road is muddy. Even if I gotta swim there, you know I'll be there soon. If you would've told me your mom was coming, I would've worn my finest clothes.
All right.
I'm just a poor boy.
So as far as 3 top habits of a composite artist, it was kind of hard to narrow these down because I think that there are a lot of things that have come up over the years that have been important to just kind of the ease of making it happen and having stuff available to you when you can. You have an idea. And actually, I kind of want to change one of these because, all right, I'm going to add to it instead of changing to it. I'm going to make it 4. All right. So it's kind of muddled because I keep changing my mind. Because there are so many things that can help. But the first one, and this is, I feel like as photographers this is inherent, but just looking at the light, it blows my mind to see a composite that the idea is there, everything is there, and then the lighting is off. The shadows are off, the directions are off. Just like with portrait photography, with event photography, whatever kind of photography you're doing, the lighting has to make sense, even if we're not verbalizing it, even if it's a latent understanding of light. It has to match up. And at this point that I'm at in my current composite, it may not, because this is very early. This is basically the sketch. If you're doing a painting, you're sketching it out first. That's where we're at on this. But always have it in mind, like this subject, I know that her face is side lit coming from where there should actually be some shade. So we're going to visually explain that with some of the headlights and stuff. This is not the background I'm using. I'm hoping that we get some rain soon and I can go out and photograph. But for the time being, this will have to do. But the light and the shadows are always the deciding factor. You can have emotion and visual impact, and you can have all kinds of things, but if your lighting is off, none of that stuff will all be erased, and this is what people will see. So lighting, just like in all photography, lighting is the key. The second one is to take, and I started doing this later than I wish I would have, but to take bits of scenes, and especially with composite photography, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to lug your big camera around. Cell phone picture will do, depending on, it's not going to be the main element. You're probably going to want to shoot that with controlled lighting and your professional camera and all that good stuff. But certain elements, I know I've talked a lot about, there was an image I had that performed quite well at competition. It started out as a case filler, but I wanted to use, when my mom was sick and dying, essentially, we just didn't know it at the time, there was a red cardinal that would come to her window, and she couldn't sit up to see out the window, so I took a picture with my cell phone of it to show her. And I had that on my phone after she passed, and I really wanted to incorporate that into an image, and I'll show you since I'm talking about it. But it was not, it was a cell phone snap of a bird, you know, like midday sun, through a screen, through a window. It wasn't photographed with an intention to be a part of a composite image, or certainly not a competition image. But because of Photoshop, it worked. So let me see here. Was that just last year? I feel like that was 2 years ago. I need a comprehensive. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this Messenger from Heaven ended up being the final title of it. This was a master artist entry, so these are the images that I used to create the final image. And this was the bird through a screen, not great focus. You know, the lighting actually wasn't too bad because it was directional because the house was over here and it was, as you can see, an overcast day. And then the bird became the little messenger. And I am grateful they didn't zoom in on it because it's still not a great bird. But if you just are always thinking of what you can do, like what you can grab an image of, even if it's just a reference, even if you're kind of tagging that for later as an idea. And that kind of goes along. The one that I wanted to add, that I'll just kind of add now, is to have a notebook where you record your ideas. And it took me a long time to do this. So I've got my notebook here with all of the ideas, concepts, sketches of what I want to do, just titles, some of them, and save them for when you are looking for creative inspiration or, you know, whatever. And you have a place that you can go find them. And that goes along with always kind of be prepared to grab those images and then and save them. And I started a folder in my files that is just scenery. And it's nice to be able to go to and just be able to pull what I'm looking for. And this color is weird. I'm colorblind, so I've got to go looking. I think it's red. So numbers tell me it is red. I thought maybe it was pink or red. And it is a light red, so I don't know what it's going to end up being. I don't know that I like the red because I want it to be kind of a chill vibe. I don't know. Oh, I forgot. I need to add a tail to the cat. I'm going to do that before I forget because I want her tail up. Let's look in here. And then one of these things, actually, while we're talking about this, because I'm pulling this from another, y'all are quiet today. Pulling this from another file. I keep forgetting what I call this. I don't have a title for this piece yet. So this could end up going a little emo, as my work tends to do. But this is one that I grabbed, and I used this in a competition, not a competition, an exhibition image, but just this texture of the rain. And it has like, you know what? I actually shot, this was not something that I just stumbled upon. Now that I recall, I sprayed plexiglass down with a hose because I don't know if you can even see. There's a swipe across the middle, and I used this for an exhibition image. So disregard that as as making my point. But now I need to find a tail for this cat. And these are just like, she's stretching. She looks like she's hissing at me. So it's kind of curled there. Actually, that might work, just because it's got nice texture to it. 45. Oh wait, that's even better. 5557. Let's do that one. She's not one for getting her picture taken. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab this.
need you to dry my face. Look how I behave and all the mess that I made.
You can attach it to the little nub happening.
But I did really do my best, breaking down my name.
It looks big. She actually has a pretty chunky tail. But it's also... Where is she even? Where's the cat? Okay, so I'm just going to... and then move this up in front so that we just kind of make sure that I don't leave anything trailing. And then I'm gonna do the indoor action that I built yesterday. This is probably pretty close. Pretty sharp, but it'll do. So for compositing, the light, the shadows, that's number one. That's honestly number one for everything. In drawing, I got my first degree in fine arts and studio arts, and drawing fabric was my favorite. And it sounds boring, but it's just the light and shadows and how fluid and beautiful it is, and how you can create so much dimension with like not a lot of information. So that is always key. And then keeping a notebook. Sometimes I start with the title, sometimes I start with a concept, sometimes I'll start with the image, especially if it's a client image and I get one that I just really love. And I'll actually, if I still have this folder open, I'll show you what I was working on there. Let's see, where is it? I think it was 21. And this image ended up, it's titled Her Wings Unfold. It was the top 10. It was nominated for a Grand Imaging Award, which was like highlight of my career. And it was just a normal senior session. I mean, normal in that they were a regular client, everything. She's a stunning ballerina, so it makes it kind of hard to screw up. But the title and everything just kind of came together for that one. And I like titling stuff now. I think it's important. And some of my comps that don't require titles, I'm kind of like, now I'm missing an element. But when I was preparing for my first student show many years ago, I titled everything Untitled. It was like Untitled 1 through however many I was entering. My professor was like, what is your problem? Come a long way. But now, even if I'm entering a comp that doesn't use titles, I will give it one so that I'm giving it direction for the creation of it. I feel like I'm leaving a lot of debris. Maybe I'm not pushing hard. I always feel like I'm pushing really hard when I'm using a stylus. And then like I'm shaking. I don't know if you can see my microphone, but I feel like it's shaking the whole table. So keep your notebook and just write down, sketch out ideas, plan it, think about it. When you're feeling uninspired, find it in somewhere that you found inspiration already. Recycle your inspiration. into something doable and usable. And since I started doing that, and I just had a place that I could go, like one central place, and I'll still like email myself, but I leave it, unless you're one of those people like my husband that is okay leaving a bunch of unanswered, like unopened emails, that I can't live like that. It's too. But send yourself an email, and then the next time you're at your notebook, write it down and just have that central spot of knowing where you can be inspired. So those are the first two. And then I kind of, I already did the extra one, so we'll stay with 3 since I put it in the title. But the third one then is to consider all the senses when you're working with a composite. And I talk about this when I speak on marketing. I think, we think we're visual people, just given the career that we're in. We're visual people. So it's important to remind yourself that you can tap into every sense possible with texture, with, with smells, even through imagery. And in marketing, in the client experience, in the imagery, any way that you can tie in a new sense is key, especially, I don't know if there are any food photographers, commercial photographers, that's key. How you can connect to somebody in an extra way. And keeping that in mind will help bring a whole new level to what you're working on. Okay, and then I'm just gonna smudge that tail a little bit. Okay, so the reason I want to reshoot, so initially I wanted a really colorful background, and whoops. And now when I got it on there, I like the idea of her being colorful and everything else being subdued. But the more I think about it, I want that color. So I'm gonna have to reshoot this, and I think I want a standing puddle. If you look closely enough, you can see that this is ice and not rain even. So adding rain on that won't make any sense. Now we'll see if Liquify is gonna work today, because sometimes my computer gets real weird. And I think it's my mouse more than anything. Well, there we go. And then you can see over here, I'm pointing to it. You can see over here we're missing a little chunk of her shoulder. So I'm gonna go correct that before we go any further. It's pretty minor, but just in case. Especially if we change to a more colorful backdrop, which I was initially leaning away from it. I'm leaning back now. And then, I don't know now, the cat is very sharp. I feel like pets are so different. Furred animals are different in the visual treatment of them. So what I want is a busy, bright lit city. So a colorful city on a cloudy, rainy day. And then we're gonna add, she's gonna be dripping and it's gonna be actively raining, but she's gonna be protecting her cat. Now that I look at it, she needs to lean her umbrella over a little more. So that will be addressed. I don't have a title for this one yet. Oops. So while we're on here, and we've got some different colors and different options here. I can't even see it. Screen, that might be the closest. Maybe hard light, actually. Let's do one hard light and one screen, and then we can decide. I actually like that better. But first, I don't know if I like the like swoop across there. I'm thinking maybe that needs to go. But it looks like selective color, which is kind of weird because it's not. It looks like those cards from like 30 years ago when it was like selective color and it was like a little boy and a little girl dressed like old people. See if you else remember those. Like, and he was giving her a kiss on the cheek or some charming verse. Okay, so let's find. I know I've got some brushes. This is what I'd like to use, these oils. But I don't think it'll let me use those with erasers. No. But this is what we can do. think I just like the whole and then I don't know if I want to use this for competition now, actually. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So I think what I'd like to do is to play around with, I'm just gonna merge these. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. Because I got, we could maybe go a higher contrast than I normally go. Those together, duplicate again, and actually I'm going to go back to 0 on the brightness and just I do think I will pull in some of these brighter cars. I think I grabbed some the other day from those old files. Oh, maybe I didn't. Why didn't I? But I didn't. So anyway. And then I'm going to duplicate the kitty. And okay, she does. I was thinking about, because she's very contrasty. Let's see. And then where's she at? I'm usually, I don't know, I'm pretty middle of the road, I think, contrast wise. Normally I go really warm, but I think for this one I could even maybe frame it with a window frame and explain the, like, I'm tempted to have her looking at the cat though. I shot both ways and I'm kind of unsure. With the cat looking up, I feel like maybe, I don't know. As you can see, I'm very indecisive with this one. With the others, I had a little more direction that I don't have right now. But I do feel like this window pane takes away some of the questions about it being ice. It makes it a little more, it makes a little more sense visually. So I know I have one that has some raindrops that we can add on there. You know what though? I'm gonna move them into the folder before. Okay, I think that's in competition. Okay, so we went out and did some pictures when my son was baptized, and these are very old. That's what I was looking for. Okay. I might just grab 7. I don't know why it's numbered like that. Put it in with the rain kitty. I have a whole series where I didn't trust the lake water, so
You feel like summer days to me, warm, tender, sunny rays.
There we go.
I hope that we're
98.
meant to be.
If nothing else,
Nothing at all when we need. Yet
I can just study them and recreate them a little bit.
history. Oh, come what may, I'm ready. Picture frames, lavender paint.
I think I might warm her up just a little because she is supposed to be the warmth. She's supposed to be the heartwarming element. All right, so I'm gonna grab some of these raindrops. And this is kind of what I was talking about, just having like a library of options that you can go to for things like this.
What's right or a sin? But as you stand before me, I give in. Picture frames, lavender and paint. They all live here.
Now I've got to make sure that I'm under.
As I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one. Picture frames,
I'm gonna merge those because I'm not actually sure what the difference is.
within this romance, I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one.
And I think with the car headlights, I think this works.
That I'm the lucky one.
And actually the colors aren't that far off, so this works out nicely. We're just real small here.
Frames, lavender and paint.
Maybe we go down to 5.
Within this romance, I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one. Picture frames, lavender and paint. They all live here. Within this romance, I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one.
So I might make some of those smaller. They're blending really nicely though. And I've got to make sure that the cat's actually going to be under. And then just, I'm going to grab this and stretch it out a little. Just so that it really looks like it's pulling from that. pretty bright, so I'm going to darken that a little bit. Now I know... okay, let me look. In the bereavement series, I know there was one that we did from that spot. It's got a little more light in it. And there's enough, you know, reflection that it could pass for 62. Or maybe just 76, 62 and 76. Help me remember that. This is, this is from something different. All right, 62 and 76. You guys are a quiet bunch today. Pop those into Rain Kitty, which is what I so eloquently named this file. So, I feel like okay. So I'm gonna experiment a little bit. Don't judge me. Where else should be dripping here? Probably her dress, maybe some along her boots. Uh-oh. Oh, my mouse freaks out once in a while. What is that in the water? Just to make sure that we're behind. There we go. Want to be behind the, oops. Well, where, this is what I want to be on. That's not it. There it is. So the umbrella drops. Skirt drops. So it'll be a little bit of chaos because there's so much happening. So to make some of this stuff stand out, one thing that I'm gonna do is really make that skirt heavy. Make the edges of it. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate you sticking around and bringing all your friends. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the stylus because I'm finding that I'm also gripping the mouse. So the schedule was already pretty full. It's been a quiet first quarter. And it's always a little more quiet. You know, I get the January babies and February babies and some maternity, but like for the most part, people around here want to stick, you know, stay home. And then it picks up when the weather starts cooperating a little more predictably. But it's really all of a sudden just like been kind of a boom, which I love. And I'm gonna just duplicate this layer so I can grab parts of it and through Dio who rated me. That's okay, you can borrow somebody else's friends. This song has whistling, which I won't stand for. There we go. Okay, so my intention today was not to add raindrops, and yet here we are. I like it though. It's working. I feel like it's actually, you know what? I'm going to separate these. No, wait, undo that. No, wait, undo that. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. And then so what I want to do is just drag this drop so that it's just like really dripping. So that these are all a little different. There won't be any duplicates. I mean, I don't feel like, for the most part, that they're like getting in there. And I remember I had this assignment in 2D, like 2D design in college, and we were supposed to do a painting and not use the same stroke twice. So they're the same color for more than one stroke. So I sat there and painstakingly like dipped my brush in between each. It was an impressionist style. It was like a three-dimensional, kind of like you were inside an ocean wave and you could see the body of the wave in almost a tunnel, but it was painstaking. And it was being discussed in class, and at the end, and the professor was like, well, but I bet there are two of the same. And I really didn't. I don't remember I was telling that story, but it was frustrating because I really didn't, and there was no way to prove it. So there you go. Now you know that.
Tell me, what can I do? Do I go for a walk? Should I stay with you? I'm tired.
Okay, and I'm going to change this one to
Watching what I love, build like a house plan.
top umbrella drops. like, do these necessarily need to be on the same, like on different? No, probably not. So I do need to consider how to let's see, did I leave that open somewhere? There we go. So I need to study or do something here with some of these drips to really make her.
Seems like just the other day.
And I think it's just going to be a matter of studying
Now I'm staring at
the light and the.
stepping over eggshells spread all around.
Okay, so
So tell me, what can I do? Do I tiptoe around to pick up a broom? Can we sweep up this mess?
So this is her.
Field out of our dress.
drips. So I'm just gonna kind of study. So it's just kind of uneven. Let me see, what makes a shiny raincoat? How do we know it's shiny? Let's look. Okay, just a lot of light reflected. You know, it's funny, one of those things, you know it when you see it, but you can't necessarily translate it. So, that's what I'm gonna do now, is translate it. Alright, so I'm gonna duplicate this again. I know what I was gonna do. Okay, so I want her skirt to be, I wanna keep the two separate. I'm just, whoops. What is happening? There we go. So I want this to look weighted down. So let's do this. And when I'm doing something like this where I need it to stay in the same place, I'm gonna duplicate the layer and then select the inverse to delete so that I'm left with just the selection, but it's in the exact right place. And then I'm gonna duplicate the layer again and go dark, because the bottom of it is gonna be wet. got these little edges. I'm kind of smearing down to hide them. And then that skirt has a little bit, or those drops have so that'll make it a little bit, it's got a little weight to it. And then I'm going to flip this and change it a little, just so we're not duplicating wildly, obviously. And then for this one, I just want it to like hug the edge of the skirt, so it's really just coming right off of there. And then we'll try some other ones here. And then we're going to have to I'm gonna go ahead and flip that because the light is coming from the other side. It's not gonna be reflecting through her. I'm all mixed up. Did that wrong. There we go. Nope. Oh no, I did that right. Whatever. So, take this much smaller, back down to 4, and then all right. So, this process is like a little bit painstaking, but in a good way. Bitty there too. Just love a good warp in a composite. Dog says hi. Alright, I'm gonna darken that just a little because it's kind of down there. Whoops, wrong one. It's kind of down there in the shadows. So I think what I might do is actually just photograph. This is my daughter, so I can go. I might just photograph her with wet hair, and maybe some. I know what I was gonna do though. I want to make this shiny though before we go anywhere else. And again, the overlap will be on the outside of what we're working on because it's much easier to erase back than it is to add back in. Not impossible, but duplicate this, hide one, and we're just gonna go in and really make it crazy reflection. Reference again just to kind of check in. It's got like basically pure white reflection, pure white highlights to give it that raincoat. And that didn't work, so just pretend that never happened. Get that out of there. And then before I go any further, I'm going to erase back from her hair. Like I said, I'm probably going to, right now, I'm leaning towards photographing her hair wet and maybe some drips on her skin, which I have some from an old, it wasn't a composite, but just an old portrait, it was conceptual. Somebody's mowing their grass already. shaking the whole thing. And I'm gonna go really small and just do like the button highlights. Because who doesn't love a perfectly round little button highlight? I can't be the only one. And because of the nature of this composite, it can be a little bit sloppy, like an oil painting. Let's just see overall how it's working here. And this is all gonna be under here. So that's the old one, that's the new one. I feel like somewhere in the middle is where we need to end up, which is real easy. Actually, you know what? It's not, because it's going to be a dramatic kind of overlay. So we're going with it. And I have some teardrops that weren't real teardrops that I think could work. And the way her hair is laying is actually just right. So I might be able to just digitally wet the hair. But let's see if I can add some drips to her face and stuff before we're done tonight. So not a lot. One's got a little 4758.
Starting from scratch, brick by brick.
All right, I think we can do this.
No path carved out for us now. The brush is thick. All I'm asking
Just for a little bit of a reference.
don't give up on love.
And that's already all smeared. So I think this could work.
Don't give up on love.
I'm gonna use the inside action.
I know that you're tired, my love, but please don't go. There's valleys and mountain tops on this rocky road. All I'm
It's just like a
asking
wound.
don't give up on love. Don't give up. Don't give
I need to back up a little bit because that grid is messing with my.
on love. In sickness or health, for rich or for poor. I meant every word that I told
Let's
you
see.
before.
Rain on a face just for reference.
All I'm asking now,
Not a lot of
don't give up.
good references. When you really break down where the light and shadows are, it looks weird.
Give up.
There we go, that's better. It just looks like chicken pox. If you're just breaking it down to the, you know. Okay, wait. Let's merge these. And then duplicate again and hide these. Wait, I don't ever want to hide like the ones that I intended to keep, because then I'll never remember again. I don't even know what that is.
Riding out the way.
Oh, okay.
All the ebbs and flows used to bring me down. I'm stronger now. Used to
Okay,
toss
where's
me
that?
about.
'Cause that needs, I really like that.
Wiser now. Feel the tide coming. Know the feeling.
Gonna save, and
Used to
then,
lose my ground.
okay, now we can, now I know that we're on the right layer.
Used
And
to
then
toss
I'm gonna
me
pull this reference up
wiser now.
that just helps me see.
Write it out. Write it out.
What I'm, because it does look weird. But I feel like that's the nature of.
Learn to sail the storm. Know and have a plan. Used to get knocked
And
down.
then like
Stronger now.
1 pixel.
Used to toss me about.
Whoops.
Wiser now.
All right.
Write it out. Write
And
it
then
out.
like 2 pixels.
Write it out. 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 Write it out.
It's like a comment. Okay. And then let's burn. In fact, we'll go even lower than that.
Being gentle with
Okay,
how
let's
we
see.
feel. There's a charge in the room. I can feel all the fire rising. I'll handle with care.
I mean, would this have been easier to photograph? Like, and just turned a hose on? Yes.
Time to let go.
Maybe not as crisp. I'll tell myself that. Check it with the overlay, how we trucking.
Until there's calm, peace comes as we pause, breathing in.
Okay, I'm gonna turn that back off and keep working. Where is,
I'll make still this
know where I'm at.
weather in me.
Let's see. I'm gonna duplicate her and hide one and see about these drops. These, her hair. These drops.
Different meaning, expectations they leave us deafened by pride. I will
Let's
listen,
see.
find acceptance, no choice to actively love.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I've got like 20 minutes before I need to
Breathing in
get going myself.
till there's
But I keep adding work. Keep adding stuff here.
breathing in deep.
And I think I'm just gonna work on this like before I even. That's what I want. Let's see. Well, nope. That's not gonna work at all. And then bring this down. Nah, those aren't working. And I'm gonna try maybe burning the ends of her hair a little bit. I think it might end up just easier to reshoot her hair. And then burn. I'm actually going to take this down so, wet hair gets kind of stringy and separates. The ends will be darker. The hair is kind of just really get these separations. might be a little much into that shadow. Let's see. Whoops. I do not have dodge. That I did.
Following a shadow down to the graveyard. Gonna say a prayer, gonna pay my dues. I've been running wild ever since I left Virginia, trying to find a face that might remind me of I can see the sunlight rising in the mountains, orange and red in the morning sky. I know that the world is ever steady changing. Lord, give me wings so I could fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away. Any heart can shatter like a pane of glass. To the wind it scatters, and let's go at last.
Okay, so I'm thinking of with her head tilted like that. I'm gonna duplicate. I just can't. I can't not duplicate. It's a problem. Where are her? So I'm gonna duplicate this one.
Tell her that I love her. Don't you tell about me, 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 tell about me,
And then let's see. Okay, so we're at a 1. I'm like, I'm using this image as a photo reference. And then let's dodge. It's probably not gonna. Let's see. Actually, let's not blur. Let's just back up and see, because we're working in like. Yeah, it's not. Blur it is, but I want to blur it like 2 pixels at a time. And then And then one thing I want to try before I leave here, because we are going to be running out of time soon. work for placement. That's a drip that I could use somewhere. Where is that? There we go. All right, we are getting there. And I'm gonna duplicate this and do something real quick because it's gonna bother me if I don't. Okay. And then I do want to add to that background some brighter colors. I mean, I've got a lot to do here, so it's not getting done today. But what is today? Wednesday? I will be back tomorrow because I will be gone Friday and Saturday. Sunday is undecided. But if I decide I want to come back and work on this, I'll be here Sunday too. But we're traveling, so I will be working from the road. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for the raid and for keeping me company, even lurking. It is greatly appreciated. Let me see if I have anybody on right now and we can raid. We'll just keep the raid train going. We'll see what we got. Okay, let's do it. It's always a good time. Why can I not? I never. Do you put the word first or do you put the slash first? No, you put the slash first. Why isn't it working? Why can't I do this? What is the problem? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn my music off in preparation. And the last time I rated somebody, I spelled it wrong. So we got there in we took the long road. Let me see if this is. Why aren't I better at this is the real question. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Between now and the next, well, I'll be back tomorrow. But you can still come hang out with me on Instagram and YouTube until then. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. Let's see if, it didn't work. I hope you can still see me because it's saying I need to log in. All right. I don't know how to do this here. All right. I guess I'm going to give up because something is going on with Streamlabs and it keeps signing me out. So I hope you can see me. Oh, yes, I'm still here. Yay. But I guess we can't raid because it thinks that I'm not here. So that's why the prompt wasn't working. Not cool. All right. Well, I'll get that figured out and we'll catch them next time. If you are looking for somewhere, I'll just give you the link. Because I don't know what else to do. Okay. Here is the link. Oh my gosh, it's TLD Academy. It won't even let me put anything in chat. So, I'll go hang out there too. Everybody go. TLD Academy, photographer, good guy. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
That's why you my mommy. Please.